You can have your life looking completely fine on the outside and still not trust a single decision that you make on the inside. And if you've ever found yourself second guessing something that you just knew, or replaying conversations in your head, or wondering why you still don't feel fully sure of yourself even after doing everything right, well, this episode is going to land in a very different way. Come on in. It's time to choose your happy life. Wherever you are, whatever kind of day you're having, this is your reminder. You have a choice. If you're ready to break free from self-doubt and negative thinking, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Marie, and this is the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. Welcome. Hello, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I'm doing good. I'm enjoying the spring warm temperatures as they happen. Feeling very grateful that we started transitioning seasons. You can have your life together and still not trust yourself at all. And that is exactly what I want to talk about today. Because for a lot of us high-functioning women, especially in midlife, life looks responsible on the outside. You know, we handle all the things, everything around us is kind of stable, things look like they should feel settled, and yet, internally, there is still this moment that shows up before decisions where you hesitate. It looks like this, where you pause longer than you want to, where you ask yourself yet again if you're making the right choice, or where you quietly don't feel fully sure of yourself. And sometimes that turns into the question, why am I still like this? But I want to offer you something a little different today. It's not that something's wrong with you. It's that self-trust doesn't disappear because you think you're broken or something's wrong. It actually fades when you stop consistently turning toward your own voice over time. And most people actually never notice that happening. Most of the women that I speak to and work with are not new to responsibility. They've built a life that works. They've taken care of things. They've shown up for the people in their life. They've figured things out as they went along. From the outside, they and you look capable. And you are. But there's often this quieter layer underneath that doesn't get named very often. Because this is actually a stage of life where things are less urgent than they used to be. Remember those urgent moments? We have less external pressure, at least we should be. Less constant decision making for everyone else. More space. And as we have that space, something else becomes visible. It's that internal hesitation that was always there. It was just quieter before because you were busy. And now that you're not so busy, with the kids are grown up, now you start to notice it more clearly. You notice that pause before you choose. You notice the second guessing after you choose something. And you hear the replaying of conversations in your mind. And it can feel frustrating because part of you thinks, I really should be past this by now. But you're not. Don't worry. You're just finally seeing a pattern that just used to be covered up by being busy, needed, and responsible. So let's just slow this down and just make it really human, okay? Self trust doesn't disappear randomly. It gets shaped over time. And for a lot of people, a few patterns quietly form. One of them is this, for example. You are often rewarded, I'm thinking, for being right? Or doing things correctly, right? More than you are supported in simply trusting your own inner sense. Does that sound familiar? So over time, this focus becomes the following thoughts. Did I get that right? Was that the correct decision? Does this make sense? Instead of asking yourself, does this feel right for me? And slowly, without noticing it, your system has learned to check outward more than inward. Not because you did something wrong, just because that's what got reinforced. And then something else happens. Your mind starts trying to help you avoid regret. So, after making a decision, it steps in. That's when you start replaying things. You start reopening choices, even after you made it, and it asks, what if questions. Sound familiar? Not because it's trying to confuse you, but because it's trying to protect you from discomfort later. But that experience of that protection, it feels like noise. It feels like overthinking. It feels like never quite settling, even when nothing is, actually wrong. So let's reframe this in a different way. Self trust is not the absence of doubt, it's your ability to stay connected to yourself while doubt is there. And that's the part that I find most people miss because we tend to think self trust looks like certainty, right? Oh, trust myself certain. Like I know exactly what I'm doing. But in real life, self trust looks more like this. I notice I'm unsure and I don't leave myself because of it. You don't need to eliminate doubt to trust yourself. You don't need to feel fully confident before you choose. And you don't need perfect clarity before you take a step. What actually changes things is something much quieter. It's the moment you stop abandoning your own choice in your mind afterward. The moment you stop reopening everything again and again. I know because I've done it. The moment you start staying with yourself, even in those imperfect decisions. Because self trust is not built in big life decisions, it's actually built in small moments where you choose and you stay with yourself afterward. And that's really key. So, if you take one thing from this conversation we're having today, let it be this. You are not trying to fix yourself, okay? You are rebuilding a relationship with yourself. And that relationship is not rebuilt through understanding alone. It is rebuilt through repetition, through noticing when you leave yourself and slowly learning how to come back. This is where self-trust actually starts to change things. Not all at once, but moment by moment. If this episode resonated with you, I want to invite you to join my email list if you're not already on it. Inside my emails, I share deeper reflections on self-trust, overthinking, and how to connect with yourself in everyday life. And I also include 2 simple but powerful tools. First, I share affirmations. I share an affirmation each week that helps you come back to your own voice in moments when your mind gets loud or uncertain. And second, I share a journal prompt, 1 to 3 journal prompts related to the topic of the episode that helps you slow your thinking down. Just gives you a moment to think about the topic of this week's episode. And it helps you reconnect with what you actually feel and know underneath the noise. And the reason these matter is because self-trust doesn't change from inside alone. It really doesn't. It changes through repetition, through returning to yourself again and again in small moments, through giving yourself space to hear your own voice more clearly over time. So if you want to continue that work with me, you can join the email list in the show notes if you're not already on my email list. And I'll leave you with this. Every time you choose differently, you're choosing your happy life. On that note, I want to wish you a wonderful week choosing happy. Cheers! Thanks for listening to Choose Happy with Marie. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or leave a quick review for the show. It helps more women find this kind of support. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just have to choose happy right where you are, one choose happy choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care.